will accept public comment. Enough if you've seen the ordinance to know what it looks like.
No.
There you go. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the first one. Here you go.
Wait, that's
There's another one.
is that? What did you give me? Oh, I think
I
that's
gave
something
you
else.
both.
Oh.
That's the right one right there.
Can we make any copies of them so that
I think everyone who had an agenda have a copy.
oh, so is it attached to your agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so you should have it.
And I'll speak to the, where this stems from. So I was contacted by a resident who had issues with a neighbor discharging a firearm in an unsafe manner toward their, it's a camp, I wouldn't say it's residence, but that in lies the crux of where this came from, just unsafe discharge.
Isn't there already a law in place with the state
There is.
about that?
Yes, and I mentioned that to the gentleman. He just asked that we have something a little bit more specific to us and our parish, what applies better. St. Helena, West Feliciana, as well as East Baton Rouge, all have versions of this specific to their parishes. East Baton Rouge, it's a more stringent, as you would imagine. West Feliciana, the distance is much greater because they're dispersed further than we are. And then St. Helena addresses more property line distance and hunting and things like that. Personally didn't feel like it applied for what we're trying to address here. We're trying to address public safety.
Well, 50 feet or 250 feet or 500 feet, a bullet's not going to stop. I mean, it's still traveling, so it don't really matter. So at 250 feet, all you're really accomplishing is punishing the people that are out there doing, shooting the way they're supposed to, you know, what they're legal to do and what they're being safe to do. And it's gonna do nothing for the ones that's illegally discharging firearms, where when somebody's illegally discharging a firearm, you need to call the sheriff's department, have them come over there, confiscate the gun and charge them. You know, it don't matter if it's 50 feet or 500 feet, it don't matter.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here that don't have the property that you're talking about. I have 7 acres.
Could you come up to the podium so we can hear you, please?
Yes, ma'am.
And introduce yourself.
My name is James Wade. I live on River Road out there. I have 7 acres, and where you talking about, I can't
To
even.
the podium, please.
I can't
To the
even-
microphone.
You're just gonna put me in the spotlight.
I am. Yes, okay.
All right, well, I have 7 acres out there, and what you talking about, I can't even discharge my gun on nowhere on my property, because I'm within 150, 200 yards from there. So, I mean, that's taking away our rights, you know? And just like this man said right here, you giving, I mean, somebody gonna outlaw, they gonna do it anyway, you're gonna call the police on it. Because we've taken away the people that try to abide by the law, take away their rights. That's what I feel about it.
I agree with you.
I do too, Kyle, like you said, if you're on a property
Excuse
line,
me, you have to come forward.
They want to record.
I got 4 acres and
like I was saying, these two gentlemen, Kyle, you're on a property line, if you're being safe, if you're target practice, you got a backstop or whatever. The noise part shouldn't even be a part of it, you're gonna be safe. Everybody in this town is probably safer than anybody else you're talking about. So we haven't had an issue with it, where somebody's calling just because it's too noisy for them or whatever. We live in the country, we're hunters. I mean, this is, you know, I kind of go back to Jason Aldean's song, you know, trying this in a small town versus some other little town out there or somewhere, you know. I mean, this is ridiculous. We all got land and property. You're telling me I can't discharge my firearm to sighting my rifle or my pistol, or if I have to go outside and, you know, all of a sudden something's gonna, you know, or you got a rattlesnake or dog is charging you or whatever, and you gotta get permission to discharge my firearm within even 100 feet. But like you were saying, a bullet's gonna go wherever it's gonna go. I mean, property line or not, that's not gonna matter.
And we try to address in some of this ordinance what you mentioned about snake. It says in there, self-defense. So that would definitely
But
apply.
you read on and it contradicts itself, you know? I mean, it's like, you gotta get permission to do something. You know, and that's not right. I don't know if this is coming out from a citizen because of noise or whatever, but they need to chill out. You know, everybody in this room is hunters and like I said before, and they're more safe than anybody around. A lot of us, that's why we live here. You know? So, I mean, we're not in the city. So y'all need to retract this thing for sure. And a lot of you are running for re-election too.
Yes, he's standing, Commissioner, in my case, state and name. I want you to realize we're not trying to finish, or no one's stepping in the rights. I want you to know, Mr. Senator, that introduced his, on the public hearing.
My name's Annie Leonard. I live on Wilson Clinton Road. I bought John Irwin's old property. I have 40 acres. I had a neighbor, so-called neighbor, move in next to me. He owns 6 acres. He is constantly, he does not shoot, he's not a hunter. All he does, he has one of these semi-automatic rifles that they are using to kill children stuff. He'll shoot for 4 and 5 hours continuously. That is, I'm scared to death to walk now on my property. My son during COVID, he lives in New Orleans. He came to Clinton to ride out COVID. He was sitting on my front porch on the steps. I walked out, he got up to come to me, and a bullet from my neighbor would have hit him in the head. It came across my property, you know, across the step, and, you know, landed. There was 2 of them. I didn't call the police because I was scared of retaliation. Like I said, I have tried to go to him nicely, you know. He happens to do this during hunting season, which the hunters on our road and surrounding areas, we're trying to put meat in our freezers to feed our families. And this guy just, he does it out of spite. And he just bald-faced told me, you can do nothing. I have until 9 o'clock at night to make all the noise I want to make. He'll get on drums or whatever, but this is gun issue. And it's, like I said, for the past 5 years, I used to walk the perimeter of my property every day for exercise. I am scared to death to walk. I stay inside. I keep all televisions on blasting, so I don't have to listen to his gunfire. So this is an issue that needs to be addressed.
Excuse me.
And I did not call the police because I was scared of retaliation.
One at a time, please, one at a time.
Excuse me, I'm gonna ask his question, because, someone told me about your situation earlier today, and I understand that, you know, you had this going on, but we have a current law that's in the books. And if you call the police, you would have some type of action, but I'm confused as to, not in our, it's in the state books. Ma'am?
I mean, I've been told that they won't come out.
Yes, you do. Illegal discharge.
Okay, so I understand you haven't, but Do you think you could have gotten some action, maybe had you called, you give them an opportunity? Could you do that to see
But call the police or
Yes.
talk to him?
the police?
No, police, yes, ma'am.
Well,
That's your
I,
next step.
Yes.
Police
Call
to
the
him,
police.
we call the law, then
well, I'm a widow, so, you know, I have no one to voice this over or whatever. And like I said, I was scared of retaliation. I have cats, dogs, you know, I'm scared he would shoot them or, God forbid, shoot me and, oh, it bounced off a tree or something. I mean, he's kind of crazy, you know, and I'm not a psychologist or anything.
If he's crazy, it's just
I
gonna
mean,
fix
I was
it.
born in Baton Rouge, and I'm, you know, his mentality is not right. I mean, for him to sit out there for 4 and 5 hours, I don't know how he can afford bullets.
I do suggest, no matter what we decide tonight, that you call the police because that is the action you need to take if you have this kind of problem going
And his
on.
house is
Whether
not
we
that
use
far.
our ordinance or whether we use the law that is in place already.
Okay.
That's the next step you need to take.
Okay.
Call the police.
All right, thank you. I
Thank
just
you,
wanted to
ma'am.
let y'all know that's aware of it, you
Thank
know?
you, thank you.
Well, the police have come out, because I got, the police called on me, for shooting a pistol into a pond, so I know that you have a problem, police will come out.
Well, my husband told me not to shoot in our pond because it could slip off.
Get out of order, man. Get out of order, okay? Yeah.
Ty Quibido, I retired from law enforcement after 32 years. And I can guarantee you that 50 feet, 250 feet is not gonna make a difference where that bullet's going. The only thing this is gonna do is gonna punish those of us that, like I said earlier, we're just out there, we're acting the way we're supposed to. It don't matter how many feet you put on it. You got somebody out there that wants to be a fool, he's gonna be a fool. A fool is a fool. That's all it is. There's already a state law that would cover this. People have problems, they need to call the sheriff's department, have them come out there. I'm sure if they don't do anything the first time, you keep calling every time, they keep responding, they're gonna eventually do something. And they can go confiscate the gun and charge them. That's what's gonna solve the problem, not adding any more footage to, you know, the zone where you can shoot or can't shoot. That's right. And that's the bottom line. All this is gonna do is punish the rest of us. I'm very much against
All right, thank you
it.
for your comment. Ms. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Kent. Ms. O'Quinn and Mr. Kent, I'd like to thank you for getting folks to the podium. The reason is not to put anyone in the spotlight. There's YouTube videos that some people can't hear properly when you're talking from the back of the room. So thank you for that. I live alone as well. I have 5 acres. But my only concern is that a lot of our neighbors do practice in their yards with your guns. It doesn't seem to bother me. Sometimes they go off late at night. I wouldn't want that stopped either. I have a neighbor that you'll hear guns going off in the middle of the night. It worried me that someone, you know, was being harmed or whatever. He's hunting feral hogs. So I would hate for anything like this to get in the way of folks that are doing a service for all of us by getting out there and hunting hogs at night when they're rooting around. I think it's okay for someone to have target practice, and I think if people are just accommodating to their neighbors, don't do things that are noisy at 4 o'clock in the morning unless it's necessary to protect something or, you know, kill a vagrant animal or something. I trap cats, so a lot of times I'm out in the dark, and I would hate to have to worry about how many feet I am away from somewhere when I got a wild hog coming at me. So as long as you can make concessions for folks to go ahead, because we can legally possess and shoot firearms. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes. Thank you, Nancy.
Kenneth Ray, I live on River Road. I have about 34 acres. I have nieces, nephews, and grandchildren. They like coming out and shooting squirrels. Those shotguns are not gonna go from, 100 yards, you know what I'm saying, they scatter. So that's what you're taking away if you do this, because I got neighbors like him and my other neighbors, we all agree that, hey, I'm not going out there and let this kid shoot. Everybody knows, stay clear. It's safety. We're not stupid, we know what we do, right? So it's common sense. It's common sense. Just like voting on this, common sense. That's all I got to say.
I thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Please, state your name, please.
My name is Donna Bordeaux. I live on Old Liberty Road North. And I heard earlier the lady that was speaking about her neighbor shooting a lot. It really doesn't matter if you're target shooting or if you want to shoot the ground in front of you or you're shooting a deer. It literally all boils down to just gun safety. The law is not going to stop somebody from being unsafe. It doesn't matter what you write down in a paper or in a book or put in a law. If people want to be ignorant, they're going to be ignorant. The only thing that passing a law on like gun control or making stricter laws or whatever it is to hinder law-abiding citizens, that's the only one it's going to affect. It's not going to affect somebody that just wants to go shoot somebody's house. I seen in the paper, I'm the one that made a Facebook post earlier. I had a majority of y'all comment on it because nobody knew about this. I found out about it from Mr. Ed, literally like hours before I made the post this morning. Nobody knew about it. I searched everywhere on the police jury website, on every website on Facebook, could not find anything where stuff like this is normally posted at. I had to actually go to the state website, like on Google or whatever, and I found one little thing with a little brief description of what it is of gun control. And whenever I posted about it, nobody knew about it. Oh, excuse me, nobody knew about it. As far as like the distance, like there's a part in that where it's marked out in red. I'm not sure what that's for, but I know there's an issue like where y'all want to write in the law about distance 250 feet. I live on Old Liberty Road. Everybody over there has multiple acre tracts. We have almost 4 acres. Our property is only 160 foot wide. We have woods on one side and neighbors on the other. There's no point in our property where, if y'all pass this law, where we'd be able to shoot a gun and not get in trouble. And we hunt. I have livestock. If something goes after my livestock, I'm going to protect my livestock. That's like our rights. We live in the country. This is not a city. We're not in a residential neighborhood like Baton Rouge, gated community, nothing like that. People shoot guns. We shoot guns for fun. It's something that we can do. We live out there, but that's why we live in the country. And I understand some people are concerned about other people shooting guns, like the lady was talking about, this gentleman over here. It's his right. It all boils down to gun safety, not laws. Laws don't matter whenever it comes to ignorant people. It just doesn't. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? State your name, please.
Chris Bates. Most of y'all know me. I think with our government in the shape that it's in right now, we have enough people trying to take away our rights. Y'all don't need to be limiting us any more than what the federal government does. I understand the lady's issue with her neighbor. To me, that's a piss poor neighbor. That's just all it boils down to. But that is his right. To shoot that weapon on his property is his right. Now, he should be responsible enough to know where that bullet's going, and if it crosses the property line, then he should be liable. Just like the lady said before me, or the people that said before me, she has options. Call the sheriff's office. Happens again, call the sheriff's office. You keep doing that enough, something's gonna be done. We don't need any more rules limiting us as law-abiding citizens. I don't have a lot of land. I got 11 acres and it borders, where I live, I'm within 100 foot of a road, two places. And I understand, talking with Kyle earlier, that being the landowner, that's different than what the thing states. That I'm okay shooting where I'm at. I'm responsible enough to know what I'm shooting at and where my bullet's going when it passes through or misses my target. That's on me. But we don't need any more of this here in this parish. That's why people live in the country, to be able to do these things. They don't do this in town. I understand Baton Rouge, a lot more residents, a lot more streets. They got to have some kind of rules in place there. That's fine. We don't have to have that out here in the country.
That's the purpose of trying to get public input, because we represent you all. We will get your input on this reward. We will not be receiving unless we get some input from the general public. I want you all to know that. That's the purpose of this for. Anything else? Anyone else? No more comment?
I want to say, Mr. Ken, you made a comment a while ago about you not infringing on our Second Amendment rights, but this is. So, everybody in this room, so it is doing it, so the statement you made is incorrect.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. That's right. Any more comments? If not, I call the public hearing to a close and we'll make the decision that our regular meeting starts at 6 o'clock. Motion to adjourn, please. All in favor? Thank you all. Our regular meeting starts at 6 o'clock.
So they made a decision after that, which is at the end of I think they have that the topic to allow ask.